G'day guys, welcome back to On Point Adventures. My name's Brendan and today we're going to take you through a journey of why we chose AEROO to be our drone of choice for this channel. That's right, we're going to fly baits out there to catch snapper like this and teach you exactly how we do it from start to finish. Let's go. Right, why did we choose AEROO? The reason we chose AEROO is we want to bring together a series to show you that droning can be done on an affordable budget. Now, of course, we do use some gear like our Penn electric reels and so forth, which are higher end. However, everything I show you in this can be done with nice and simple spin gear, so long as you got 300 odd meters of line on that reel. That's all you need. So anyway, let's start with the drone. We chose the drone as the AEROO Pro. Now the link I'll just put down in the description below, and I'll put it as one of the comments, so all you gotta do is click on that and you can see exactly what we're using. We chose the AEROO because it's nice and affordable. It's one of the more affordable fishing orientated drones that's designed purely for fishing. Okay, it's not designed for anything else, although the camera on it is spectacular. We chose the AEROO drone, as I said, because it's affordable, it's super easy to use, and so far it's been super reliable. I mean, check about how many kilometers we've done. Right, so we don't need to go on too much about the drone because you're going to see plenty of the drone throughout this episode today. Let's move on to the two types of combos that we can recommend using. Now, of course, one of the combos there is going to be an overhead combo. In this case, it's an electric reel on the Penn Prevail 10 foot extra heavy. Now, keep in mind, you can use absolutely any overhead reel you want with this. It doesn't have to be electric, and overhead reels, especially like your Penn Squalls and stuff, start really cheap and affordable, as well as that Prevail rod. Now, this combo over here that I'm going to show you is a good friend of mine, Brett's. Now, this is a very special combo. In fact, you don't get much better than this in terms of a spin combo. We've got it on the Prevail Apex 14 foot medium heavy, and right there is the beautiful Penn Authority. Now, the Penn Authority is Penn's flagship spin reel and is an absolute beautiful reel to use. Both of these rods are running roughly 30 to 50 pound braid, which is perfect for chasing these snapper. And you want to go the finest braid you possibly can, because the finer the braid, the less it's going to catch the wind. Let me just get some turns of the handle onto this reel to get some of that slack out the line, because you don't want slack in the line. So now that you've found the rods and reels and the drone that you want, we need to get into working out the spots on where we're going to fish. And this is the next big part of it. I recommend, before you even get in the car and think about going to fishing, and of course you've already gone and flown your drone so you understand it, is to jump on something like Google Earth or Google Maps to try and find some likely looking water. Some water that you think is going to turn fish. So if we have a look out here, we've got beautiful breaks along there. We've got a big hole in the entrance to the reef there. We've then got over there, we've got some more breaks. So that hole there is going to allow the fish to move through. And this is perfect. See this wave feathering through here now? That's a big lump of reef in the middle of what is a pretty big sand patch. And that's what I believe the snapper are going to come in. They're going to circle and find our bait. So what I've done is I've got Brett's bait sitting just off to the north of that lump there. And I've got my bait sitting a little bit further out in a sand sort of crevice where there's a bit of reef out there. Now, we found all these sort of spots on Google Earth. I'm going to quickly shoot you over to the computer screen now, and I'm going to show you how I locate my spots, or what I look for when preparing to go drone fishing. Okay, so now we've got our spot located, I guess. We're now down the beach like I am now, and here it is all in fruition, and I've already run you through on what it looks like. So the next thing you want to do is work out what kind of rigs you want to be using. And if you go back through some of my videos, you'll see that I've made a couple of rigs there. I've made the very basic drone rig, and then I've made the pulley style drone rig. Check them out. They're the only two rigs you're going to need on the beach. And 90% of the time I find myself fishing the basic rig anyway. Now, you want those snelled hooks, and what you want to do with those snelled hooks is you want to put them into a bait of choice. My bait of choice is always going to be either mullet or whiting. If we haven't got pickers around, the whiting is a great bait. If we've got pickers around, whack the mullet on, fairly thick skin. You can really put your hooks in it well. You can ghost cotton it up, and it really does work out well. Now, I will put a bait demonstration up of the mullet in a separate video. I'll try and get it out before this video. If not, it'll be in the following week, but it'll just be a nice demonstration of, actually, you know what, bugger it, let's make the bait now. It's gonna be a lot more fun. Hold on, let me turn the camera around and I will quickly show you how to rig a mullet bait for success. Okay, so here's how I would rig a mullet bait. What I do is I look for the biggest mullet I can in a freezer, and then when I get them home, I cut them into beautiful chunks like this, okay? The reason I cut them into chunks like this is because they just bait up so much easier. Now here's a snell, as you can see, ends cut, but that doesn't matter. There's a snell for the purpose of this video. I'm using at the top, I'm using an Owner 7/0 circle, and down the bottom I'm using an Owner just normal suicide style hook. The reason I use the suicide at the bottom is I use that more of a stinger hook, and the top hook is of course to try and pin that fish. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep varying my attention over there in case we get a rod. Hook up rather. Now this is super simple. What you want to do when you're doing this is you want to flick a scale off. Okay, so once you've flicked a couple of scales off, I'm going to try and bring the camera a bit closer to here to show you this. Okay, we're going to put the hook in, okay, like that, so it's facing down. But what we're going to do is we're just going to push it around so it comes out like that and pull the shank through. So as you can see, plenty of hook point exposure. Now this is super important. With the top hook, we want to just go through the backbone straight under the spine there. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that none of those hook points have got any scales on them. Then what we want to do is grab your bait thread. I find this Vex stuff pretty bloody good, especially in this dispenser. And what we want to do is we now want to mummify this bait. Now the reason we're going to mummify it with bait cotton isn't so the pickers can't get it off. I mean, whilst it does help, it's good. But what it does is essentially it's going to really bind that hook in to sitting straight and proud. Now I only work the bottom hook because the top hook is through that backbone. And as you can see there, that is going to get sent out as the perfect snapper bait. As a snapper comes up and bites that, hook point, game over. That's how we're rigging our bait. And it's the same with the whiting, guys. But what I do see people do from time to time is just thread their hook through that way and we've got no hook point exposure and it's completely useless, because you really want to fish these fish in the rod holder to a huge extent, so you want them to hook themselves. Anyway, let me jump back on camera because that's the baiting done. So now we've got our bait on our hooks and we know exactly how far out we're going to fly. You've then got to get the drone up in the sky, which I've shown you in another episode. So go check out the first flight of the AEROO drone, and that shows you exactly what you need to do to get that drone up in the sky. I'm not going to go through it again because, as I said, it'll just take a lot of time, and to be honest with you guys, there's a dedicated video to that. So now that we've got the drone in the sky, we've sent our bait out, we've dropped it exactly where we want by aiming the camera of the drone down and working out where that hole is. It's the waiting period. And as I said, don't think that you need to get bites or strikes in the first 10-20 minutes of fishing, because I've had bait sitting out there for an hour and then all of a sudden it's pandemonium. And I can tell you now, my favorite time to be drone fishing is in between that 9 to 10 a.m. period. For some reason, that's when the snapper turn on most. Brett's bringing his bait in now and he's watching the tip like he might have something. We'll see. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a bit of footage we got just now of a snapper that we've hooked and we've landed, and I reckon you guys are going to like it. I'll see you after we've got it on the beach. Yes. That's fish on, Brett. Finally we got a fish on. This took too long this morning. Holy moly. It feels pretty solid. I mean, it's not a small fish, but I mean, as you can see here, 365 meters, which is why we're using the electric reel. Just making my life a lot easier. But the fish this morning have just been so picky. We've got a baby pink, a sand bass, and this is potentially our first okay hookup. And even this was such a slow take. Going off how the morning's been, we'll probably drop it. But no, he's still on with 290 metres to go. Oh, I'm just absolutely stoked to have this one on, to be quite honest. See what we get. Still there. As I said, I don't think this is a big fish at all. Brett's bringing in weed, checking his baits. It's just going to be nice to get a snapper on the sand. But I mean, one thing I want to make point of, it's 20 or 9:30 in the morning, so it shows that you know, with drone fishing, you've really just got to wait it out, and eventually hopefully something turns on for you. But 145 metres to go, so we've come on the inside. There's a nice bit of reef that runs across there, and she's over the top of that now, so we're pretty much in the sand, which is where we want to be. And as soon as we get on the back of this shore break, we're going to probably take it out of automatic mode, because I don't want to lose a fish in the surf today. Oh yeah, there we go, there it is. It's a nice snapper. Beautiful snapper, just coming in on the back of that shore break now. And he is, see him coming across the surface out there. Hopefully we caught that. But we're going to be able to come in on pretty much on the back of this wave. We got one, Brett. We managed one. So just on this reel here, we're down to 13 metres. Well, so what we want to do, we also want to walk with the fish. Okay. And Brett's going to grab him and bring him up. Let's have a look at this fish. That's a bloody beautiful. What a wonderful. Whoa. We'll put him down on the ground there. But yeah, he's a wonderful pink, that one. Let's grab him. And he just came on that mullet bait. There. Look, he's on the. We've got him on the hook. Let's pull that back up there. So I mean, that's a lovely pink, and yeah, that's a nice pink on the beach for the morning. So I'm really happy with that, given how slow it's been. So yeah, coming just from out there in amongst the two breaks. We've got breaks on either side of us here, and this pinky here wanted to get in the middle of it. You beauty. So there you have it, guys. The snapper is now on the beach, and it's now in the cooler bag, and he is chilling. Now, ice is super important, guys. Always ice your fish, because it is going to stay so much better in the long run. Now that you got the fish on the beach, it's in the ice, you've completed your mission. I've done my job, I've shown you how I do it. Now it's up to you to do your job and show yourself how to do it. And most importantly, once you do have a bit of success, comment down below. I want to know how you went and what you got. Now guys, as I said, the link for the AEROO drone is in the comments below. It's also in the description. If you follow that link, it'll take you to the exact package I bought and I'm fishing with, and I absolutely get along with it really well. Just quickly as well, guys, even though these drones are dedicated fishing drones, please try and make sure that you don't get them in the sand too much, because you have got stuff like gyros and stuff which can jam up and then not work so well. But anyway, guys, there's my how-to drone, proof in the pudding, with landing that snapper just then, all in the one day. I don't reckon it could have gone any better. We've still got lines in the water. I'm going to go relax on the beach, because that's half of what it's all about. And then we will take that buggy there out of here and get home. All right, guys, until the next episode, thanks very much for watching. As I said, like, share, and put a comment down below, because as I said, I love hearing how you guys are going on the drone as well. All right, see you later.